All right, as promised, I have political analyst, pollster from Dart Insight, John Wright, who's always a wealth of knowledge, and we're going to be talking about the rift, the growing rift, I would say, between City Hall and Queen's Park. And it seems Doug Ford is constantly sideswiping Mayor John Tory. Why is that advantageous to Doug Ford?
I don't think it's advantageous to the Premier to do it for the simple reason that it has reverberations with other mayors across the province and how he's going to deal with things. But what's missing, it seems, from this whole process is the process itself. What we get is a budget which then looks okay on the surface.
Yes, you and I were here on Budget Day talking about, well, that wasn't as bad as what we thought. But all the cuts are slowly trickling out, like it's death by 1,000 cuts now.
And it really is. And the problem, of course, is that even the Toronto Star and other areas of the media thought it was a good budget to begin with. I mean, they said that there were some bad things and some good things about it.
But it just didn't seem to be as drastic or dramatic as what people were expecting from the Ford government.
So let's take a look at a couple of things. Number one is there's no political downside for the Premier to do something about it or not about it in the City of Toronto. He doesn't have a seat there. However, there is backlash from the 28 other mayors across the province who are now waking up to the fact that they're affected by this issue and by the process.
It's cuts by stealth, they
Number
said.
three is the Premier's wearing a lot of this, if not all of it. Oftentimes what happens is governments appoint a lead minister to look after a certain portfolio, and it could be a regional geographic one like the GTA, where there are these discussions that go on, and so he can get a bridge between him and the actual decision making. But the third thing, which I think is critical here, is this government has taken the mandate to actually cut the deficit. And when you cut the deficit, things are going to fall off the table. And as a result of that, you have to be very careful in coordinating it around a narrative. And I'm not sure that narrative exists. You know, even with the cuts that are coming to Toronto, I think what they were trying to say was, in the grand bargain, we're going to take subways, we're going to take a few other things, and you're going to do the following things, you know, to get your own house in order. But we're relieving that. The problem is that it's public health that is rising to the top of the heap. And when you've got measles outbreaks and a whole series of other things, it makes for an easy target.
Right. But cuts to flood relief or flood protection, and we have major floods. I mean, it just doesn't look very good.
It doesn't
optically.
look right, but I mean, it's the same thing with autism. It's the same thing with teachers. That it seems that when there is this squeaky wheel, it will get some grease. It will settle down with an injection of money somehow. But I think the main thing is, what's the process where you have some kind of ongoing dialogue? And I don't think we're going to be seeing that anytime soon with the City of Toronto.
Interesting. Where does Doug Ford stand in the polls right now?
He's sitting at about 32% support in the province. That's a poll that was taken about 3 weeks ago. So he's down from 40.5, so it's not necessarily very strong. The other thing is you get the Liberals, who have a headless leader, who are right up behind at 28%. So, you know, going forward, he's got another year of this kind of tumultuous behavior, and after that, he's got to get ready for an election.
All right, John Wright, always good to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on City News.